bow pose. Why does sometimes it feels fabulous and sometimes it feels awful? Well, a lot of it has to do with what you do to prepare for bow pose, and that's what we're going to do in today's class. The first section of class is about mobilizing, strengthening, preparing the body. The second half of class is how can we do bow pose in a way that feels good, that's useful and usable for our bodies. And what I want you to think about as we go through the class is how does this recipe, how does this sequence of exercises work for you? Let's get started. We're going to move nice and slow. I'm going to use my timer, which means we're going to change exercises about every 45 seconds, but there's no need to rush. So the first one we do is that we're lying down and arms are in a low V. And then we're going to start to pivot the legs from one side to the other. Now one side might feel tighter than the other, and that's all right, right? What we're doing is we're observing, we're being a researcher and not a judge, with the sole goal to warm up, to mobilize, to strengthen the hips. I do these every day, and if you find like you don't have time to do a whole routine, do these when you wake up in the morning. They absolutely positively can be done when you wake up in your bed. So we're going to bring ourselves up, and now we're going to switch gears, and we're going to do one side at a time. So we're going to pivot our body over to the left, and the hands go here. From here, we're going to lift and lower. Now the range of motion on this one is going to be small. You're not going to be able to lift the leg up high. If you're finding this impossible, what you do is you take your hands back so you look like this. But let's see if we can stay with this. As you come back to this routine, as you come back to this sequence, you will find it gets easier. Let's go to the other side. Remember that small movements or small efforts over time really add up. Another thing to remember as we go through this sequence is that we're doing these for about 45 seconds. But nothing is binary, right? It's not like 45 seconds or nothing. Do it for 15 seconds. Just do a few. Your body just knows when it's being challenged. You don't have to keep up with anyone. It's all about you and what you're doing. Love these, and you'll also notice one side's easier than the other. Excellent. Okay, we're going to go back to the first side, but now we're going to do the opposite movement. The hands are here, and we're going to take the foot up. Now, if you're finding this impossible, focus on pushing this inner knee, that'd be your inner right knee, down. You'll notice over time, this gets easier. You'll notice when you first start, it's kind of challenging, and that's all right. What we're doing is we're giving our body a challenge, and our body adapts to the challenge by getting stronger, by getting more balanced, by getting coordinated. Let's get one more time. That's 45 seconds on that internal rotation. Let's go to the other side. Same thing. Hands are down. You're pivoting the leg up. Now again, if this is way too much, you could just focus on anchoring or pressing your inner knee into the floor. But you will notice as you return to this routine, you get stronger, you get more mobile. Things sometimes don't work right away, but small efforts over time really does add up. And as you come back to this sequence, as you come back to this class, you will notice you're able to do this for the full 45 seconds. Let's go one more time. So good. Okay, let's go back to the first side. Now we're going to take the left hand down, and we're just going to reach that up. Now, as you do this, as you reach the arm up, you're focusing on opening up the whole side waist. And then to make this more effective, Bring your attention to your back leg and push the back leg down. This is so good. Let's get a few more times. Opening up the chest. And you'll start to notice that you feel more length, more space in that side waist as well as the hip. Let's get one more time. Excellent. Let's take it to the other side. So we pivot over, one hand is down, and then we just start to reach everything up. And what we're looking for is space in the shoulders, space in the hips, and movement happening in the whole body. You'll notice, because we're repeating this, that repetition reveals. It reveals something that you want to work on or you need to work on. It also reveals how simply putting in your time, simply doing this movement, you start to wake up the whole body. Let's get one more time. Excellent. Okay, we're going on to all fours. The toes are tucked under and we're going to round the back. We're going to stay here for a full 30 seconds. And as you stay here, dropping your head, pulling your tailbone towards you, notice that by simply staying with something, new things start showing up. Truly tuck your tailbone under. Truly drop your head. Push your hands into the floor beneath you. Can you stay with something long enough for it to work? Come back to neutral and then just start to wiggle. Yep, that's a technical term, wiggle side to side. As you do this, shifting your hips back and forth, notice how new things are starting to show up. Your hips are moving side to side and you're focusing on your hip going past the level of your knee. And what that's doing is warming up the back. It's warming up the body. It's getting the body ready for what's coming next, which are some hip fluency exercises. We're coming back to all fours and we're going to put the left forearm down. So on the left forearm and the right hand. And then we're going to bring this up. It would be your right leg. And we're going to simply pulse it up. So we're going to lift and lift and lift. Now, if you can, try not to lean too far over to the left. But if you need to, that's also okay. Let's get a few more times. And what the focus is right now is your right hip, your right knee is in line with your right hip. Let's get a few more times, please. So good. One more time. And then slowly come down. We're going to switch it to the other side. So we're on the right forearm and the left hand and the left leg is coming up. Now what we're trying to do is keep your left knee in line with your hip and then pulse it up. Now if it's too hard for you, take it lower, but also know that you're going to come back to this sequence. You're going to come back to this class and then your body will adapt by getting fitter and stronger. If you need to make it easier, lower your leg. If you need to make it harder, lean towards the leg that's being lifted, because that takes a little bit more balance and coordination. Let's get a few more times, please. Excellent. 3, 2, hold it, come back to the center. We're on all fours. We're going to come up into a downward facing dog and we're going to start to pedal the feet. Now, as you do this, you want to get the inner heels down as best you can. And if you're starting to get the heels down, can you get the inner heels down? Allow yourself to shift side to side. Start to notice for yourself, without judgment, if one side's a little bit easier, smoother for you. Let's get a few more times, pressing the inner heels down. So good. And then from here, we're going to slowly come down. We're going to bring ourselves down to our belly. And what I love about this next series of exercises is that it's a pure glute strengthener. We're going to drop our head down a bit And the only thing we're gonna do is we're gonna lift up one leg, stretch it back, lift up the other leg, stretch it back. So we're getting the glutes ready for what's coming next. And as you do this, we will lean a little bit side to side, but try to eliminate a little bit of the lean. Allow yourself to lean a bit because we want that leg to come long. We want to lift from the hip. And what happens a lot is that we lift from the knee. So get the leg long and strong. Okay, left leg only, head is down. So we're going to lift up and down, and up and down. And you should feel this in your glute, in the back of the leg. If you feel this in the back, you might be coming up too high for today. You're trying to keep your left hip on the floor. And if it can't be totally on the floor, that's okay, but have it be towards the floor. This is one of the best exercises for strengthening the glutes. If possible, get the leg even longer, pointing the toe, lifting from the hip. One more time, please. So good. Bring that down. Other side. So right leg comes up and down. Trying to keep the hip down. Now, that might not happen today. You might have to lean a little bit up, but that's what we're going for. Let's get a few more times, keeping the right hip down, really reaching the leg back, feeling the strength in your glutes, right, in the hamstring, a little bit of the back. Point the toe as much as you can. Let's get a few more times. Let's get one more time. Excellent. From here, we're going to take the hands underneath the shoulders, spread the fingers, reach the chest away from the tailbone, and we're going to do these mini cobras. So that means we're lifting the chest up away from the floor, but at the same time, you're squeezing your glutes. Now, if this is too much for you, come up less. But if you can, maybe you come up a little bit more. Let's get 4 more times, nice and slow, maybe straightening the arms. Let's get 2 more. 1 more time. Excellent. Now we're going to go into all of our variations of bow pose, and we're going to be changing them every 45 seconds. The first one is we're going to reach the arms back, lift the chest up, point the fingertips, squeeze the glutes, extend the legs, simply breathe. Lift the arms a little bit higher, lift the chest a little bit higher. Anchor the hips down, gently squeeze the glutes. See if you can lift the arms a little bit higher. And then we're going to slowly bring that down. Our next pose will be a bow pose. So we're going to bend the knees. We're going to reach the arms back. We're going to take the shins. We're going to extend the chest forward and kick the shins back. Simply breathe. See if you can kick the legs back. See if you can lift the chest. The next variation is frog pose. So the way that's going to work is you're going to get your knees a little bit wider than your hips, and you're going to tuck your toes under. And then from there, we're simply going to go back and forth. Now, if you want to make it more intense, you would get your legs wider. If you want to make it less intense, you would get your legs narrower. Either way, work on pushing, anchoring, aiming your hips back. Let's get a few more times. As you do this, really push the hips back in towards the heels. Excellent. And then from here, bring your knees back underneath and come back into a bow pose. So we're going to reach the arms back. We're going to bend the knees. We're going to take the shins and kick back. Simply breathe. Feel the breath traveling through the body. Feel your hands connected to your shins. Feel the shoulders opening up. Anchor your hips down. From here, we're going back to the frog. Now you're going to see if maybe you can take the legs a little bit wider. Tuck the toes under, back, and forth. Now please take your time with this. What I think happens is that we think the deeper we go into a pose or a stretch, the more enlightened we are. That is absolutely ridiculous. I have done a lot of variations of the pose, and I am nowhere near enlightened. The goal is to be in your body, to have an experience in your body. Let's get one more time. Excellent. One more bow pose. Come back down to the belly, reach the arms back, take your shins, kick back, find your breath. Lift the chest, push back with the shins. Drive the breath through the body. Such good work. The goal is to be in your body, to feel your hands holding your shins, to feel your legs up on the floor. Let's go down to our backs. And what we're going to do is the hips are on the floor, the arms are out to the side. We're going to push the arms down and bring ourselves up into a 1-minute bridge pose, and have this one be exploratory. Let the legs be wide. Let the arms be relaxed. Breathe. See what happens if you dig into your inner heels. See what happens if you come up a little bit higher. Explore what happens if you gently press your legs out to the side, and then we're coming down. We're going to walk the feet so they're totally together. We're going to squeeze the knees. We're going to push into your feet and come up into a narrow bridge. Have this be exploratory. So, push into the feet, squeeze the knees together, start to round the back. What happens if we stay with something long enough for it to work? Round the back, dig into the heels, deep breath, inhale, and exhale. One more deep breath, and then slowly come down. We're going to cross the left ankle over the right knee. We call this a reclining figure 4. We're going to push our foot into the floor, and we're going to come up into a bridge. But this bridge, we just have one leg down. From here, round your back, find your breath. Now, if anything is too much, go do something that we've already done that worked for you. Make this useful and usable for your practice today. Dig left ankle into right thigh, push right heel into floor, come down. Let's get the other side. Cross right ankle over left knee. Dig heel into thigh. From here, bring yourself up. Notice, without judgment, the sides are different. Round your back. Breathe. If you want to get fancy, come up higher. If you need a break, come down. Can you stay with something long enough for it to work? We're finding something new in the body we've lived in all our line. Slowly come down, adding on to that. Left ankle over right knee. Flex that foot. Your arms are out to the side, turning this into a twisted figure four. Simply breathe. We've worked a lot in this practice. Hips, glutes, back bend. Let the stretch unfold. Bring that up, uncross, other side. So we cross this over, we flex the foot, and then we take it over. See if you can stamp the foot down and push your hip away from you. Deep breath, inhale, and exhale. One more like that, and exhale. Can we stay with something long enough for it to work? Observe without judgment that one side might feel cranky or tighter than the other, and let that be okay. Be a researcher and not a judge. We're going to bring that up. We're going to roll over to the side, and we're going to bring ourselves up into a seated position. We're going to push the hands into the thighs and lift the chest. That was a full, deep practice. Notice how you feel throughout the day. Let me know what worked for you. I am so glad that you've taken this time for yourself today.